Hello and welcome to another episode of Markers and Monsters. As always, I'm Colin, your host, and today we're kicking it old school, really old school, back to ancient Greece actually, where we will be drawing a Minotaur. So without further ado, let's get started in this guy here. So I'm starting off with, the head and the horns and just kind of working my way down the body with the pencil just to get a nice look. I want him to look fearsome and just kind of awesome. So that's what we're adding in now. Just kind of doing like a medium shot where you see the bulk of the upper body with the head and his weapon being, primary focused in there. Now, as I've talked about before on this show, for any kind of artist who's doing this kind of work, learning anatomy is one of the number one skills that I can say. Seek out books on anatomy, take life drawing classes, whatever, because if you're going to do something like this, it's definitely going to help. I'm no expert myself, but I get by pretty decently, I think. But yeah, if you don't have a good understanding of anatomy, then something like this is going to be a lot tougher. So I've talked about it before in other episodes, and I'm going to show you guys in this one. This episode, I am actually putting the ink down first, and then I'm going to put the marker on top of it. It's, I don't know, I kind of just wanted this guy to have maybe more of a comic booky feel. Now, normally I take a lot longer to ink than with this guy. This I did pretty quickly. Another thing that if I'm doing for like a professional piece, I don't keep the paper as straight as you see. I did that mainly for the camera, just to make it easy for you guys to watch, so hope you enjoy that. But normally I'm spinning the paper this way and that and just getting better angles on it, so it was actually kind of a fun challenge to do it this way, and actually made me have to use more skill when I'm inking him in, because some strokes with the brush, I wanted to turn the paper and I didn't, so it was kind of a nice little challenge. Now next up, I'm deciding where my light source is. For me, right now, it's coming from the upper right-hand corner, and so I'm shading in everything that's kind of to the lower left, especially around the head there, where, the edge of his face. Now, knowing that I'm going to put marker in later, I can keep those areas dark, but I kind of like the ink texture added in on there, so that's what we are doing here now. So as it's coming together, let's talk about Minotaurs for a while, or the Minotaur. I mean, Minotaurs they're all over the place. If you've seen any Greek type movie, like a Clash of the Titans type deal, I'm sure that a Minotaur has appeared in there somewhere. They're in tons of bits of fiction. This is one of those things, a legend that just almost transcends the where it came from. Initially the Minotaur is a part of Greek mythology, and we'll talk about that here in a minute. But it's kind of interesting that this figure appears in so many different other fantasy works, even works that have nothing relating to ancient Greece or Greek mythology. Minotaurs appear in like Dungeons and Dragons, all kind of fantasy video games. But yeah, the actual Greek Minotaur kind of started off as the legend goes that King Minos, or Minos, pardon me, he requested a boon from Poseidon, the sea god, and he wanted this just this gorgeous cow for whatever reason, like a bull, I believe it was, a white bull. And he said, oh, if you give me this, then I'll sacrifice it to you later, but I want it for some reason, I don't know. So Poseidon gives him this gorgeous white bull, which I guess is really impressive. And King Minos is like, hey, I said I was going to kill this thing and sacrifice it, but man, is it pretty. I'm not going to do that anymore. So he chose not to. And wouldn't you know it, this bull is so attractive that Minos' wife is like, yeah, I really love this bull. I'm in love with it in a romantic way. So she has the Greek inventor Daedalus create a wooden cow that she gets into so that this bull will mistake it for a real cow and will mate with it. But in reality, the bull is mating with her. Yeah, Greek mythology. It's awesome. Great for kids too, with all this kind of stuff. So anyway, she's inside this wooden bull and she's being mated with the white bull here. So Poseidon, the sea god, sees this. He gets really mad, as I don't blame him for. I mean, this bull was supposed to be killed in his name, and now the king's wife is doing inappropriate things with it. So he curses them, and she gets pregnant by this bull somehow, and gives birth to a child who is the Minotaur, who is like the body of a man and the head of a bull, and he's this fearsome creature. King Minos is like, crap, I'm not into this. So he has Daedalus construct this gigantic labyrinth for him and sticks the kid in there. Doesn't kill the kid, doesn't ship him off to boarding school. I don't know. He just decides, oh, yep, ugly kid, time to go in the labyrinth. So chucks the kid in the middle of the labyrinth, and the kid eats other human beings, apparently, as you do when you have a bullhead. And Minos decides, okay, so I need to feed this thing that's in my labyrinth. I'm going to have other places send me like tributes, like young men and women, and we're going to chuck them in the labyrinth, and they're going to get lost in there, and the Minotaur is going to hunt them down and kill and eat them. So that's what he does for a while. Well, along comes a Greek hero Theseus, who is like, hey, no more of this crap. He decides to take the place of one of the kids that are being sent to feed the Minotaur. And he goes to the island. He goes into the labyrinth. Before this, he apparently had fallen in love with the king's daughter, Ariadne, and she says, okay, here's the secret of the labyrinth. You always go down, you never go left or right, so just straighten down. So I don't know, this labyrinth doesn't seem too hard to solve if the entranceway leads into a straight hallway to the center where the Minotaur is. Anyway, she also gives him a little ball of string, and she says, here you go so you can find your way back. But considering she said don't ever turn, I imagine that it was just a straight line of string. Anyway, so he goes in here, finds the Minotaur. They have this epic battle. He stabs it in the throat. And then he decides, okay, job's done. I'm going to leave. So he and all the people that are with him are like, yeah, we're gonna head out. They fall asleep on the beach, and then one of the gods, I think Hera or something, talks to him in a dream and is like, hey, you should leave all your friends and go home. And he says, okay, done. And he does that. He just leaves Ariadne there, and she's all despondent and heartbroken, whatever. Anywho, he told his dad before he left, Theseus, that if he was coming back successful, he would change the sail on his boat to white instead of black. He would take down the black sail that he left with and put up a white one, so his dad knows he's successful. Well, I guess Theseus forgets to do that, and so he rides home with black sails, and before the boat lands, his dad is very sad and kills himself. So yeah, happy ending to this story all around. So if you're watching me do this, you should kind of notice by now as I'm laying in this skin tone here over the ink. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like the inks were completely dry because it kind of tends to smear the inks around a little bit. That's okay on this guy. I assume that running around the labyrinth eating kids and stuff, he's probably going to get pretty dirty, so I'm not too worried about it. But if you guys are at home doing something similar to this, laying the inks on top, it's just one of those that you need to be very careful. And with lighter colors like this, the very light flesh tone I'm using, it tends to smear a lot more. Yellows will just smear the heck out of ink, even if it's been drying for days. So something to be cautious with. The browns and stuff, the darker colors, they don't do too much, which is good. One thing to remember too is when you're doing the skin tones here, you kind of want to lit little areas of like white or even extremely light areas leave that be. It kind of gives the look that there's like a little bit of reflection off of there. If everything's colored in completely, then it's going to look a little odd. So even in his face here, which I'm doing right now, I'm going to leave some white areas in up at the top and just kind of just layer in colors. With the markers, it's best, I find, to start light to dark. You put in some light colors and then you darken them up slowly. In larger areas like this here, you'll see I add in some light, and then I'll be adding in the dark, the brown of the fur in there. But yeah, so he's coming along really nicely. I like it. One interesting thing that always I like about Minotaurs, I'm a fan of the Dragonlance book series, which was put out. It's like a Dungeons and Dragons tie-in back in the 80s, and I think there's like 190 Dragonlance books total that cover different time periods and the history, and it's pretty neat. But one weird thing is, on Krynn, the Dragonlance world, Minotaurs are like a race of seafaring people. They're like pirates and merchant sailors and stuff. They live on an island in the north, and they're good with... I've never seen that anywhere else. Anytime I see a Minotaur, he's some brutish thug guy, like the one I'm drawing right now. So yeah, Dragonlance, Minotaurs are sailors. Interesting. Alright, so I decided to do the background here in like a kind of a light pinkish color. I don't really know why, I just thought it would look kind of cool. I love backgrounds that kind of pop out, or at least pop the character out. So I don't know, I just thought it would work well, so I hope it does. You guys let me know what you think. But going over this again, you can kind of see it here, but it's smearing the ink just a little bit. That's unfortunate, but I don't think it looks too bad. You know, it's got a little bit of flavor in it there in the pink in the back. And I'm just kind of doing the background area where he's coming out of those like leaning columns or whatever in a gray color. All right, let's add in a couple highlights here and there and just a little bit of drool, and well, I think he's good. Take a look from the scan here. All right. Hey guys, thanks again for watching. I hope you enjoyed this look into Minotaur stuff, and let me rant about Greek mythology for a bit. Hope you enjoyed the show, and please like, comment, subscribe, share with your friends, all that kind of fun stuff. And as always, I'm your host, Colin. I'll see you guys on the next episode of Markers and Monsters.